Friends, family, and random strangers on the internet. This is how I make pea and potato curry, also known as aloo mutter. So first you've just got to put a little bit of oil in your pan and then add cumin and onions, let them cook off a little bit, and then add some garlic. After we've added garlic, we're going to add our 4 key spices, as I would say, which is cumin. No, we already added cumin. Garam masala, turmeric, chilli, and Kitchen King. Also any masala you like. Sometimes as well, instead of adding chili, you can add paprika, which is a really nice way to keep the flavour without having the spice. And sometimes I do that as well, or add paprika too, because it's delicious. Then I just add in my tomatoes and let those cook off a little bit. This is how you let it cook off the spices. Add a little bit of water as well, because that'll help cook everything down without burning it. I'm just getting my atta ready while I do it, which is the dough for making roti. So I use a really fine chapati flour, but you can use just standard white flour for this. You just need to add some oil. Sorry, now I'm back to putting the veggies in. I put my potatoes in, put my peas in, so those are just quite finely cut potatoes. The bigger your potatoes are, the I don't know, sometimes it goes mushy, so I normally cut them quite small. Back to making my dough. So this is just water and flour, but if you are using white flour, I do recommend using some oil in there, and kind of just following a tortilla recipe. You kind of get to this texture, and then you just literally need to knead it around and around in circles until it gets kind of soft. I don't really know how to explain it. I find this is the easiest way to knead it. Sometimes doing this, but with 2 hands, and then let it rest for at least 15 minutes. But you can make this and leave it sitting on the bench or in the fridge for a few hours before rolling it out. And back to your curry. So I add a little bit of water in the bottom of mine sometimes if it needs a little bit of extra help cooking, but you don't want to make it too mushy either. So that's why I cover it with the lid. And then, just roll your chapatis. So it's the same as rolling tortillas. You just want to get it quite thin, but not too thin, but everyone's got their own preference. And then put it on a hot pan or tava, and then you flip it over when it gets a few little bubbles, kind of like pancakes. And then you can use a spatula instead of a tea towel if you don't want to burn yourself, which I often do. And then when it's cooked a bit, you just turn it over and finish off the little bits so you can tell they're not quite cooked. Then if you put them in a pan like this with a lid on, or in a tea towel like that, it'll keep them soft, especially if you're making quite a lot of them. So normally I make my roti while I'm cooking my curry, because the potatoes are probably going to take 30 minutes or so if you're cooking them on a low heat. If your chapati does this, you've nailed it. That's absolute perfection if you can get it to do that. It is. And then, here's my curry. It's pretty much ready. You just push down to see if your potato's cooked, add a little bit extra salt, whatever, if you need to. If it gets stuck to the bottom like that, you can add in a tiny bit more water if your potatoes aren't cooked, but you kind of want to add it to the middle so it doesn't make it mushy. I don't know how to explain that more than that, but that's that. It's delicious. Serve it on the side with some Greek yogurt, some avo, some cucumber. It's actually a really good dinner, really, really good. Oh, look at that. There's my soft roti. Oh, there's it all laid out. What a good dinner.